Don't even ask me what happened there because I don't have a clue. I guess I came across a chair, the chair of justice, and it decided I failed, so it threw me against a wall. Well done, Battlefield. But on to the main topic, and that of course is Battlefield 4 weapon balance, and now this isn't something I've really covered on my channel so far. And that's because there isn't a huge amount of information about it. Of course we know that at the E3 gameplay in those live streams that we saw, the weapon damage for all the guns and the vehicles had been lowered, so it took more shots to kill somebody. That was simply because not everybody was on the same skill set, it was on the show floor, and they didn't want people dying all the time. Now I happen to have taken part in the Battlefield 4 Alpha, and now during those 2 weeks that I actually played the game, I didn't play a huge amount, perhaps 7 or 8 hours, but just jumping in straight away it was clear to tell that the weapon system in Battlefield 4, especially the way it handles and how they're balanced, is very similar to how we're seeing it in Battlefield 3. One of the main factors that's really going to affect the weapon balance in Battlefield 4 is of course suppression. Now I've done a video on this already, but I'll lightly touch on it again. The suppression system for Battlefield 4 has been slightly revolutionised rather than evolutionised, because it's more of a step in the right direction that I would have liked to have seen in Battlefield 3, but instead DICE have waited until Battlefield 4 to release this. The suppression effect for the Assault and Engineer class has either been lowered or kept the same, and then for the Support and Recon class, suppression has been given an increase. Meaning that if you're firing at somebody now with an LMG, you're going to be suppressing them a hell of a lot more than you would if you were firing at them with an assault rifle. What we see in Battlefield 3 is essentially the same suppression effect for every single gun in the game. To go along with the change in suppression, the second thing that's going to heavily influence weapon balance in Battlefield 4 is weapon customization, because now we're not just seeing primary weapon customization, we're going to be able to customize our secondaries as well. To give you an idea of what I'm talking about, I went onto the Reddit page for Battlefield 4 yesterday and I came across this. This is one of the handguns that's going to be in Battlefield 4, and it's actually got 3 attachments on it. It's got a barrel, an accessory and a sight. It's got the compensator for the barrel, an accessory which is the laser pointer, and the sights are the ghost ring. And on top of all that you've also got a camo which looks pretty sweet too. So you've actually got 3 different attachments there for a secondary weapon. So that's 3 different ways it's going to affect the weapon balance just specifically for that weapon in one different gunfight. I mean, you may come across some guy with a heavy LMG when you're firing at this one, and you never know what the outcome's going to be because there's so many different variables this time round in Battlefield 4. I'd like to think that DICE looked at some of the competitors out there and thought there's not enough customization in this game, so what we need to do is bring in more. Look at Medal of Honor Warfighter. I know the menu was confusing and some of the things didn't really make a difference, but the amount of customization that you could put onto your weapons really did affect the weapon balance. Another example is Ghost Recon Future Soldier, that had a really good way of laying it out on the screen exactly how each change you made to the gun's loadout actually affected the balance of the weapon. Now there's a screenshot on the page there in front of you. I think it's a really easy way to see exactly what you're doing to the gun, and it shows it how it's balanced across other classes because it's so easy to see. Both of those games were great examples of how customization can change the way a weapon plays out, and in Battlefield 4 that is really key, because in Battlefield 3 it was something of a letdown, but from what I've seen so far in the alpha gameplays and having played the alpha myself, they're really starting to get there. And there's a final factor that comes into weapon balance, and that's personal choice. Let's take the Recon class in Battlefield 3 for example. I love playing with the M40A5, it makes an appearance in every single video that I make I think for the last 2 months. It's clear to see I really like using that gun. I like to pair it with the rifle scope and the laser sight. Now statistically the M40A5 isn't exactly the best weapon in the Recon class, but I feel it gives me a bit of a challenge to use it. Its effective range is about 300 meters, and after about 130-140 meters you have to start calculating for bullet drop. The reason for that of course is the bullet velocity. Now on the M40A5 that's quite slow in comparison to let's say an M98B, and I like having that challenge of using a gun that is slightly different or slightly underpowered into comparison for something that is more popular in that class. I feel like a better sense of achievement when I've actually killed somebody with it. And that in Battlefield 4 is something that you cannot change. Think about it in Battlefield 3, the M16A3 is by far the most popular gun for the assault class, and for good reason. It was easy to use, it was easy to get kills with, and it made you feel good because you could go on some real back rages with it. But of course it was the most popular weapon, and no matter what DICE did, they couldn't change it. The M16 in Battlefield 3 was actually quite true to life anyway. It doesn't have a lot of recoil, but of course that really does help in certain situations. And you're not going to be able to take players away from a gun that is, in real life, a really good weapon. Just a couple of quick things to mention before I end this video. Battlefield 4 is going to Gamescom at the end of August, so I'm hoping some new footage will come out, perhaps some live streams maybe, some more things that might give us some clues to what Battlefield 4 is going to be like at its full release, because now it's coming up to beta time. I'm pretty sure this thing is going to drop either at the end of September and the start of October, so things are getting pretty exciting now. So seeing it at a Gamescom is going to be nearly a finished product going into beta stages, so that's going to be pretty awesome. And secondly, I now have my own discount code for digikeys.co.uk. The discount code has come up at the bottom of the screen there, and that gives you 25% off anything in the digikeys.co.uk store. That also includes their new PC sales as well. They're starting to sell custom PCs as of Wednesday the 7th of August, which happens to be my birthday as well. I will be 19. So if any of you guys are really interested in getting into PC gaming and you want yourself 25% off a custom gaming PC, then use that code down below and you could be getting yourself a serious deal. But that is the end of this video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to smash that like button, and also comments are always appreciated. I do try and read as many as I can. But until next time, my name is Westy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.